Welcome! You've made it to lesson 2 of our Learn to Become Holiday Planning workshop. In this lesson, we're talking about brainstorming. Hopefully, you've already had a conversation with your family members or loved ones, and you've talked about the purpose and principles and the outcome vision. If you are ready now to move forward with the brainstorming, this is where I do recommend getting a big sheet of paper. You could do this digitally, typing it out into a Word document or a Google Doc or an Evernote or something like that. But this is where we're going to list all the specifics. Now, you might feel a little bit overwhelmed as you're going through this process, but just trust that as we get it organized and start getting it into your list and your current projects and things like that in the following steps, you're actually going to start breathing a lot better. Okay, so suppose you did get out a big piece of paper, and this is where we're going to write down everything that's on our minds in categories. So the way that I did this worked really well for me, and hopefully you can either try something like this or adjust it to meet your needs. But I first just wrote the categories and put circles around them. So our categories were service, home activities, card, outside activities, gifts for the immediate family, gifts for the extended family, gifts for friends, decor, food, and travel. So your categories might look different than mine, but these are the ones that generally our family uses every year. Then I just sat down and I went through the purpose and principles that we'd recorded previously, and I started writing down things that we had discussed during our family meeting. So as we talked about service, I wrote down some different conversations that I could have with neighbors to find out about service opportunities here in our area since we just moved here. I wrote down some important principles like keeping open time in our schedule or incorporating service into family parties or checking with our local university. Also making this part of a weekly plan with the family. That I'm going to do some research, that will be one sub-project, but then we're going to turn this into a routine. So every week throughout the holiday season, as I'm planning with the family, I'm going to be looking at service opportunities and planning those. As I looked at home activities, that's where I wrote down things our children were talking about, like, oh, we wanted to make some homemade bread. We wanted to be able to read together. We wanted to make the candy cane airplanes again that we made with Grandpa last time. The children love making gingerbread houses. We want to have a nativity puppet show. We want music. They love watching the movie Elf. And we just wrote down how they wanted more Christmas storybooks and things like that. So I wrote all those things down under our home activities. Then under the card, I wrote down details for that. Okay, Grace wants to design it, and we need to update some addresses. We haven't done a card for years and years. We're going to send this out to the family. We're going to write a little newsletter to go with it. So I just wrote down those little components. Same type of thing with the outside activities. And then under gifts, we just wrote down the names of people that we're going to be purchasing gifts for, or kind of creating little categories like, oh, people that we work with, people who teach our children, looking at our immediate family, who's our gift exchange person this year for the extended family, things like that. And just all those little notes that captured our discussion as a family. Now, by the end of this, I started thinking, wow, there's kind of a lot to do. Now, this is a great opportunity to look and see if it feels like too much. You can absolutely decide, hey, I'm going to cut a few more things here, or we're going to reduce that. We're actually going to do a card in February or in April, or we're not going to travel this year because there's a lot of other stuff going on, that type of thing. But when you do the brainstorm, you start to see, oh, there's a lot of pieces here, but I'm getting all of it out of my head. Because what we don't want is to move through the season feeling stressed out every day because we know we're forgetting something. This brainstorm is going to be a really great exercise to just help your head feel like you've captured everything, and then you'll be ready to move on to lesson 3. Now, if you want to do this on your own, great. I did this on my own today. Or if you want to do this with your family, that's great as well. Totally up to you. But the idea is that all the important pieces will be captured, or at least the main things that you're responsible for, and then you can add other things in later. Okay, hope this is helpful to you. You can go ahead and check out the photo of our brainstorm that will accompany this audio. Then we encourage you to implement this, try it out, make your own brainstorm, and notice how much better you feel just after this step. Okay, we'll see you in lesson 3.